So, one obstacle I was able to recently overcome in one of my projects is an attendance tracking application. I built this application about 5 years ago, and I've actually been selling subscriptions to this successfully ever since. I use this as kind of like a way to test new technologies. So, one of the new technologies, or one of the things that's changed recently, are a lot of innovations in authentication and the processes and how to implement that. And I wanted to refactor my authentication for this app. I did what I always do, and I started researching how to implement this, and then I started working with some small tests. When it came time to actually implement this into my production application, I realized that there were going to be it's going to be a little bit more involved than I thought. And my understanding was that I was actually going to have to redesign a lot of my database. So that obviously turns this into a much larger project than I thought. So what I went ahead and did was I reached out to some more experienced developers that I'm associated with, and I talked it out with them, and they were able to actually help me understand kind of what I was trying to accomplish, and basically they helped me come to the realization that it wasn't as tricky as I thought it was going to be. So I think this is just a good example of keeping communication lines open and working with others. Also ego is another thing that I'm really not a fan of. So, to put that aside when it's necessary and be willing to learn something new and admit that, hey, you don't know the answers, I think that's very important. So after talking it through with these resources, I was able to get it implemented and everything works great. So it turned out great. And I learned a lot, which is, the big thing here.